All right, we'll get rolling March 15th, 2026.
Is it? Isn't it the 14th?
14th was Saturday.
Oh.
Today's the 15th. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
But welcome, guys.
Yep.
This is the Now.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we're going to be here every week talking about something going on right now. And that is not limited to anything.
But hang on. This is Allan, and my name's Jeff. We'll be your hosts.
We'll be here. We'll be here. We've been talking about doing this for a really long time, and today's the day. And we kind of forced ourselves into...
We just kind of bit it off.
Yeah, ripped the Band-Aid.
Ouch.
Ripped it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got lots and lots of stuff stuck in our heads that we need to get out. And we've got lots and lots of fun stories and lots of knowledge, hopefully, for y'all to pick up on.
Yeah, and some of that, we'll apologize now for some of it, because a lot of it's just useless rambling, but we've got to get it off our shoulders. So,
well, that's how you shed the weight. You have to.
Yeah.
You just got to shed it. So today, guys, it's middle of March, Central Indiana. Actually coming to you today from Greencastle, Indiana, and that could change.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Indy will be our kind of home bases, but we're mobile enough to where there'll be a lot of live takes out in the woods. For those of you that are just hearing us, it may just be that for a little while until we can sync up, but we do also have some GoPro stuff going on, and we get into the editing part of it, it'll be a little bit better. But today's kind of just a trial run, and we're rocking and rolling with it. So.
Yeah, we'd like to do a lot of kind of updates from the log, maybe the log studio, wherever, if we're in the woods, we stumble onto something and we feel like, it's got value or, something that we want to share, we're going to pull everything out, fire it all up, and roll video right there on the spot. So look for that in the future. We're excited about that.
Oh yeah. It could be a stump.
It could be a stump. It has to be a log. Because we can't both sit comfortably on a stump. Unless it's a giant... I don't want to share a stump with you.
If I had to share a stump with anybody, it'd be with you.
I'm just not sitting on your lap.
You'd be my stump buddy.
Okay, fine. Mm-hmm.
Right. That was your nickname in college, too, wasn't it? It was Stump Buddy, wasn't it? Okay. Yeah, all right, moving on. So, going back to it, guys, we're going to talk about some morels today. Mm-hmm. Recently, if you've noticed, we've had a couple 70 degree days. That's great. They're not consistent. More cold than warm still. Mm-hmm. But what's happening right now with the ground?
Microclimates, in my opinion, if that's where you're going with that.
I'm just going, just in general, what's going on with the ground right now from where it was?
The ground is slowly warming up, but the ground temperature's got to get consistently. I mean, just to move forward with this, there are microclimates. The ground is warm. There are mushrooms up right now. There are morels up right now. But it has a lot to do with the composition of the soil. Is it real rocky? What's the elevation? What's the the temperature in that area? Sun exposure. Which way is it facing? I mean, there's so many different variables to it that sure there are people out picking. Very few right now. I highly doubt they're going to hit another load or anything like that. But we're also talking central.
Exactly. We're central Indiana. So if you go down Ohio River right now, a little bit south of the Ohio River, northern Kentucky, I've been seeing a lot of blacks out of northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing about blacks, they always look so nice in pictures, and they're always so, tight-pitted and amazing looking. But in reality, the ones you're seeing that look like a nice mushroom to pick are about 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
Like, and big around as your pinky.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're itty-bitty, and you're finding onesie-twosies, and you're probably stepping on 3 times the amount that you're seeing. Mm-hmm. So, you can get out and look. This is my favorite time of year to go find trees.
Yeah, for sure.
So, one of the big things, guys, that we're going to be doing with this as well, we're going to keep it consistent at least throughout this morel season, and every week we'll talk about the progression. I know you guys all have your social media. You can go on and check your Facebook pages. But as you know, there's a lot of BS on there. whole lot of BS. You get people posting prior years pictures. You get now with the fun AI stuff happening. You've got
truckloads.
Oh gosh, and just horribly bad pictures, just horribly bad fakes, horribly bad attempts, and you can tell most of the time it's bots. But just be aware, guys. I know you're excited. We're excited, but you gotta rake away the BS. So that's another reason we're here, raking away the BS.
Because we're BS free.
We are. We're raking it away. We're clearing the BS.
Yeah.
So yeah, Northern Kentucky right now. I'd say if you wanted to go down, have a nice long afternoon, maybe Red River Gorge, something like that. Maybe.
I mean, if you really wanted to, me personally, I still wouldn't go.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either.
I mean, it's too early, and like Allan, was saying, sure, you're gonna find some blacks, but until the weather temperature and you get the humidity in the air, until that's really up a little more, you're going to be picking babies. You're going to be hunting. I mean, when it warms up a little bit more and we've got that humidity, then you'll start to see those nicer blacks.
Yep.
They
start getting flaky on the ridges.
Yeah,
where they look tan. Everything else is nice and dark around the ridges, but they're tan on the insides.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll pick them and I'll go hunting with anybody. But I don't normally, during the season for the blacks, I'm usually still tree shopping. I'm out looking for, I get excited when, the grays and the yellows or the whites or the blondes or whatever you want to call them, when they're more consistent and bigger hauls.
And let's face it, the last, 10 years, minus a couple outliers, the black season and the regular Americana season and your grays and yellows, they're so intertwined and so connected now. Mm-hmm. You used to have kind of a defined black season for about 2 weeks where you could really go out and target blacks. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been like that. Now it's like the blacks start, and within 3 to 5 days you've got picking size grays up. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
sure.
like you don't have time to really go out and target. And if you are doing that, you better have a spot where you know where they already are, so you can make it productive, or you're going to end up wasting time on prepping for your hauls coming in and your puker trees and your
puker trees. Sure, and we all know. I think every year it changes every year. Some years, the season's here, and in just the flash of a week or two, it's over. We could slip into a drought. We could get a heat spell. That soil just goes from 50 to 70. In just the course of a couple days, and we're done. So if you want to pick. You need to be prepared for that. I mean, if a person just wants to go out and pick a mess, you can usually do that. I like to get pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I give a lot away, store a lot. Put a lot in the freezer or the pantry or whatever. So I move for them. I know Allan does too. We've done a lot of traveling, north, south, east, west. We kind of go where the climate's at. And then and go from there. So there's obviously different types of pickers. There's people that will travel for them and they're after weight, and then there's people that just want to slip out the back door and pick some mushrooms, and we're going to talk about all that, everything in between. So,
and another great thing too, with kind of the contrast here, Jeff's middle of the country out here in Park County, right? You in Park County? Putnam. See, I'm way off. Putnam County. I'm inner city Marion County. So I'm inside the circle in Marion County. So throughout this Morel season, we'll definitely talk about some urban techniques and some more rural techniques that most people are accustomed to, I guess. But I've kind of been, to be honest, I pick most of my weight out of the city every year, out of the inside of the circle.
And you can taste the difference between a city Morel.
No, you can't. Get out of here.
Get out of here. It tastes like city to me.
Get out of here.
No, you've got some great spots inside the circle. And we say circle, we mean 465.
Yep.
So the loop around Indy, Allan's done a really good job of, not to give away all your spots, but there are some amazing places. You wouldn't think of it, but there are some amazing spots.
Y'all could go there too. I'm not hunting anywhere that's private.
Just not telling anybody. Yeah.
No, y'all can go there too. And hopefully we gear you up throughout these next few weeks. Since we're going there, What do you think? When do you think your first eatable haul?
Eatable?
Eatable.
Is this eatable? That's
Is
a question
it
that's always
eatable?
on our page. The Midwest Morel Mushroom Reporter.
Yeah. We've been slacking on it. Guys.
We have. But we've got families and we've got chores and jobs and things like that. But yeah, so to get back to your question, my first eatable morel. Gosh, I'm gonna say probably March 25th.
Okay.
Yep.
It's kind of along the line I gave a prediction on. I did a little podcast interview with Indiana Outdoors last week. You guys can check it out on the 1075 The Fans website. They have all the podcast links on there. But no, just kind of gave my prediction, and I was kind of right along those lines. I said maybe the week before going into the first week of April.
Yeah, last week of March, first week of April.
I said April 7th around the central Indiana area, where I'm going to go out and target my early spots, and probably my yard at that point will have a good 40 in there. So
yeah.
So at that point, I'm full bore going out, and every chance I can get in the woods, I'm going.
So your yard, is that your barometer? I mean, once
So my yard is kind of a different ball game. Years ago, I started dumping wash water out there. I've never soaked my morels other than right when I really first started doing it, I guess. Right. And that was just because it was an old wives' tale kind of thing. So now it's always a bucket underneath, spray them off, couple squirts of some honey in there, some molasses, mix it all up, and I'll dump all my wash water in there, put it into a milk jug. And over the last, since I've lived in the home, 13 years or so, every year, go out and dump them by these aging crabapple trees. Well, about 4 years ago, those crabapple trees started to die, and I knew that might happen. With them being a fruit tree like that, especially an apple tree, I was like, well, if I'm going to dump this stuff anywhere, it's going to go right there. First year, I think it was year 2 after I did it the first time, I had 2 morels. Next year, I had one of my trees have a major, it was either blight or something, killed one of the major stump branches that came off of it. And I picked 40 that year around the one tree. And I've got 5 of them in my yard. And then I had a couple lackluster years because I really didn't up the sporage, I guess, out there. I didn't really boost the mycelium. And then we had more death. So next year,
tree death.
More tree death. So I had another tree where a big chunk of it died off. And now from the front of that side yard all the way to the back of that side yard, every tree's got at least 5 to 15 morels around it.
Are all those trees dead?
They're all dying now.
Okay.
They've all and not because of a disease with those. They've just hit their life cycle. I mean, they were planted in, the 60s.
And so, you know that as those roots decay, your harvest is going to decay too.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Harvest will decay, and that's if that one tree. What if on my other tree, there's roots decaying and dying in the one spot, but I've still got some that are super alive on the backside of the tree.
Yeah. You
can still until that tree's totally dead, and even when that stump and that tree is gone, I've got a stump now. I cut one down last year because the whole thing split. I raked out the sawdust from cutting it kind of in the circle that I picked them last year, and I'm hoping that kind of boosts them up. But
and we're going down a completely.
We are. We're diving down it.
We will do an episode on how we think you can cultivate morels, with some success. Some people have great success, some people don't. I personally, versus inoculating a living tree or shrub or whatever, I'm a big fan of biochar. So I like to make the biochar. It's great in the garden. It's also a sterile host. So if you can get your hands on some biochar or make biochar, it's real simple. You can Google it. Basically, you're baking wood to the point where all the moisture is gone and it just turns into a giant piece of charcoal. So it's sterile. You can work that into the soil. You can even dig holes, drop it in, inoculate that charcoal.
And guys, what that charcoal, we're talking charcoal here, what that charcoal does, it gives that mycelium home and a base to consume and to spread.
Sterile medium. Yep. And then at that point, you're basically manufacturing what they call sclerotia, which is what the mycelium basically it colonizes. But anyway, so this yard patch. Where I was
patch.
Is that your signal? You're like, okay, they're in the yard. It's time for me to go hunting. Or when you see them in your yard.
When I see them in my yard, that's when the countdown starts for when I'm hitting them in the woods. So I've got an early spot in the city that I always check. That's surprisingly on the north side, and it's near some railroad tracks. So that's my earliest spot that I ever find them away from my yard. My yard is first.
That's funny because my early spot, so this time of year, I go out my back door, I walk to a certain spot and I look and see if there's mushrooms there. If there's not, I come straight back to my house and I don't go for 3 or 4 more days. I keep going to this one spot, and this has worked for me for well over 15 years. When I go to this one spot and there's mushrooms, I know I've got about a week. After about a week, it's going to work. And I guess where I was going with that is it's also along a railroad track.
Yeah.
So,
and guys, you're going to hear, and we will address these all at some point. There's so many different wives' tales, so many different things. Why they're by the railroad tracks, why they get there,
why the mushroom train goes by.
The mushroom train,
all the spores.
Yep, it's because the mushroom fairy lives in old railroad houses.
Right.
And she sprinkles her dust at night.
When it's storming, but only it's
there it is. When it's storming and there's lightning.
Yeah.
And it's over 60 degrees.
Right.
She goes out and sprinkles them. And then they burst through the ground after.
But the spores come down in the lightning.
They activate with the lightning.
Oh, right.
She just drops them.
Right.
Guys, we're totally BSing you. Sorry about that. But you'll hear crap like that. Yeah. You will hear stuff that will blow your mind. And if you're a beginning mushroom hunter, if it sounds ridiculous, do not believe it.
Yeah.
Guys, you got to remember with these things, they're a fungal species, a mycorrhizal fungal species. They do what a mycorrhizal fungal species does, and they have a symbiotic relationship with a host, and they give back and they grow and they do their thing. They don't burst from the ground like a magic fungal phenomenon.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen, guys. But there will be plenty of people, most likely at this point in their 80s, late 70s maybe, that will tell you otherwise. And no. They've witnessed it.
And there's an easy explanation for that. You go and you're hunting and you look in a certain area and, you don't see anything, and maybe your buddy's working behind you and he sees one and it must have just popped up because you didn't see it. That's the truth of it. You just didn't see it.
Typically, you got leaf litter in woods, too. I don't know how many people, and I see this every year. Nope. They had to have just bursted up overnight because I was just there and I didn't see them. Well, guess what? In a day, if you got the right conditions, you could have those morels that are growing diagonally under the leaves to where you couldn't see them, and then you got a nice rain and a little bit of 70-degree weather, a little bit of humidity, and then all of a sudden the ridges of those things are bursted through the tops of the leaves. So now you can see them, and you're thinking, oh my God, those things were there the whole time. They grow. They go from a tic tac, guys. It's a tic tac, itty bitty, and they
expand.
They go and now, will they go from a tic tac to a thimble and stop? Sure, if the conditions deem them to grow that way, they will do it. Will they go from a tic tac to a baby arm?
Sure.
Yeah.
Depending on the
sometimes right by a water heater. Sometimes right by a pile of trash. Nick found somewhere a bunch of old oil filters were on the ground outside of a mechanic shop.
Yeah, my largest ever morel was between an old toilet and a hot water heater in the city of Greencastle, basically in an alley.
Yeah.
So, they can grow anywhere, and and they can come from the ground. They can also come from the wind. If you've got, say, a patch of morels, 100 feet, 100 yards, whatever away, if those spores get on the wind and they land on a host, or they land on a surface that is hospitable, they can fruit.
Yep.
So there's several different life cycles. It's still, there's still a lot to learn about it. So.
Tell us what you think in the comments, guys. Let us know.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us what kind of crazy, ridiculous stuff you've heard.
Right. Where's the oddest place, the strangest place that you've ever picked a morel? So,
And what's the most ridiculous story you've ever heard from an old timer? I want to hear that too.
I do too. That's going to be hilarious.
Oh, there's
some doozies. Yeah, for sure. I've seen them growing out of the side of trees. You know, seen them growing, like I said, around, you know, old abandoned just junk, garbage. Basically.
Root balls. Bottoms of root balls.
Rocks, yeah, cornfields.
Back when ash trees were alive still, and a storm would blow a live one over, you could pick a dozen, 2 dozen out of the root ball after it blew up. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's just, they're going to attach where they attach, and they're going to do their thing where they want to do their thing. It's just the way it is. I mean,
yeah, and I think a great example of it can happen anywhere is a lot of times when I'm hunting, you know, I'll cross, say, a commercial ag field, which, you know, that field's getting nuked with, you know, with nitrogen and herbicides and pesticides and all this, that, and the other. But you may run into 15 or 20. It's like, why are these here? Well, those are there because they're on the wind. You know that mycelium's not in that field. That field's getting turned over 2 or 3 times a year. They're drilling in nitrogen. They're hitting it with glyphosate. All this horrible conditions for mycelium. But if you are crossing a field and you get into them, what do?
First thing I do is look for the host every time. Anytime I find a morel, the first thing I do is like, why is this here?
Yeah, and you can usually, if you're in a field, like I'm talking about, say a soybean or a cornfield, start looking around, and there's a good chance you'll see an elm tree.
A tree line elm, or a fence line elm out in the middle.
And you can go and find where they came from.
Yep. Major practice back in the day, guys, and you ag people are going to know that, especially if you lived on farms. Jeff, you know this. Elm trees were shade trees back in the day, and they were planted specifically a lot of the times and left in farm fields a lot of the times because of the shade aspect of them. Elms don't have a symmetrical canopy. It's always going to lean one way, kind of like a witch holding a ball of toilet paper on the end of her hand.
Well, yeah, when they die.
When they die, yeah. So they'll lean and they kind of go over a little bit, like almost like a claw that comes out. Even when they're alive, they're going to lean one way or the other. It will not be a full fluff at the top. It's going to be kind of leaned like this. Now, granted, how many big elm trees have you seen with leaves on them recently?
Well, I don't want to answer that.
I know.
I'd give away too much.
They're there. That's the thing, guys. And there's a reason I said that, and it's because you'd be surprised how many times those get confused just because it's single blade leaflets. You could confuse them with a bunch of stuff, and the bark is where you want to roll with them. So, and that's a whole nother discussion on another day. But yeah, the reason we're talking about this stuff, guys, first of all, we're talking morels, but just kind of getting you on the barometer where we're going to be at with this whole thing. Like I said, morels are going to be a hot topic the next few weeks. What else is going on this time of year? I mean, hell, we got walleye going on. We got cohos happening right now. There's all sorts of stuff, guys. But
I think the important thing right now is to focus on the trees.
Yep.
Go out, look for that shape. And there is a learning curve. You're going to go out and you're going to hustle to a lot of spots because you're convinced that's an elm tree, and you're going to get there and it's not an elm tree, and you may not even know it. There's people that are convinced that, I found this on an elm tree, and you look at it and it's clearly a maple or something like that. But it's something you just have to stick to. You've got to, you just, the most important thing, in my opinion, is learning those trees. And then you'll get to the point to where when you're driving down the road, you'll see them.
And you're right more often than not. I can tell you right now, me and this dude hunt together. We know our trees. We'll look at each other and be like, is that an elm? Is that an elm?
Yeah.
And you look at it, and hell, when we were in Wisconsin last year, we came up on a spot where we're like, oh, these all look like elms. And then they ended up being just really perfectly decayed box elders or something like that, to where they looked like elms, but they weren't. And it was like, oh, okay. This makes more sense now.
And, and there's so many different varieties of species, too, I mean, I don't even know how many. I know around here we've got 3 or 4 different types of elm trees, and they all produce a little differently, too. The red elm, for instance, I mean, that's the money tree,
the puker tree
there,
right
but
there.
they're really, really hard to find too. So.
I call them slippies and corkies.
Yeah, Yeah.
Slippies and corkies. Honestly, guys, too. I mean, it doesn't really matter with an elm. You could have I call them basketball sized. I mean, those are always good for a couple dozen if they're dying at the right time.
Yeah.
So, elm about yay big around. You get up to the point where they're yay, and it takes a couple people to hug around it. You better have baskets and bags and extra shirts and everything else.
We've found them to where you have to take the shirt off your back, fill it with mushrooms. All your bags are filled.
Fill the bottom of your canoe up.
Yeah, and you're walking away and there's still mushrooms there. So that's the difference between hunting trees and just walking around staring at the ground, which I don't do. I do enjoy walking around staring at the ground, but during mushroom season, my eyes are usually up.
Yep.
So,
if there's one thing to take away with you today, I'd say, as far as morels go, that you want to remember this time of year, and when you're in the woods even, you're going to find more morels looking up, not down. Mm-hmm. I know that doesn't really make any sense, but you're going to find more looking up and not down. When you get so good with the trees that you can tell by the canopy of a tree that's 100 yards away what kind of tree it is, then you're on the right path, and you're shaving time. I mean, let's face it, guys, mushroom hunting is tree hunting. That's what I mean.
It should be. Again, it just depends on what type of hunter you are. There's some people that, they want to hunt cottonwoods, or they want.
And we're in the Midwest too. I mean, if y'all are watching from the West Coast, that's awesome. But I mean, this is going to be totally different. It's one of those that I figured out. They have the same tendencies every year, but it's not always the same every year. So they will. They will follow the same kind of patterns every year, but they'll still surprise you.
It usually starts with the landscape morel. On the West Coast of California, it's like, I found this.
Olive groves too.
Yeah. And then, of course, you get into the burns and, and the big sites out west, and those folks are just spoiled. But a lot of people claim they don't have as intense of a flavor. There are different flavors. They don't all taste the same. I think some of them are nutty. I think some of them are earthy. I think some of them kind of black flavor.
Hey, tell you what, and this completely changed my mind, because I used to think they were all just kind of bland. They came from out west. This past summer, my pops works at a grocery store, retired, works at a grocery store. He's, just doing his thing.
I remember this. It was a good deal.
Yeah. Oh, hell of a deal. And these were coming from Oregon, I believe. This is midsummer too, like, I wanted to say mid-July sometime, maybe. It was late. But yeah, I think we got these blacks at, $10 a pound, $12 a pound,
That's
something
cheap.
like that. You got to remember, these had to transport from out there, and they came over, and my thing was they looked amazing, and they were cold and wet and fresh. A lot of the times when you're buying burned morels from somebody who's transported them from out west over here, they don't look the best. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, if there's one thing you want to take away from today, get out there and look and learn your trees. Go learn what an elm tree is.
And don't give up. So many people give up. They try it. They don't really have a successful year, and it's because they devoted it all to the elm tree. So if you're new to tree hunting, don't give up on the old. Keep doing whatever worked, but use this tool and work it into your schedule and try and take it a little bit more seriously, learn a little bit more about it, get on Google, look at the images of the bark, look for feet, look for that vase shape, look for that witch's hand, Now keep in mind, you're not really going to see that witch's hand, and the witch's hand is when, the tree loses like all of its, what they call turgor pressure. So it's basically dehydrated and it's shrinking up, and it goes from this to and it just dries and dies,
Guys, you know what that's all about.
Yeah. So I wouldn't just give up on whatever's working for you. I would include this. And the proof's in the pudding. I think once you get to learn more about the elm tree and how to identify them, it's going to up your game. And, and then eventually you're going to give up on the way you used to do it, and you're just going to become an elm tree hunter. So maybe. Yeah.
Maybe I'm not just an elm tree hunter.
Yeah. Well, you pick about half as much as I do. So. Now I will get in the bottoms and pick a few trees later on in the year. There's a few trees that we can get into
man.
later that really push up some monsters.
Mm-hmm. Real common ones that are super easy to identify.
Yes, they are.
And I know some super easy to identify early trees too.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into that. We can get into that next week.
Not all the secrets in one show.
Oh hell no. So yeah, guys, we'll have another progression next week.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Kentucky, mid Kentucky, southern Kentucky, if you want numbers and blacks.
Mm-hmm.
Middle Tennessee, they're starting to find some grays. I see.
Yeah.
You didn't really see it from Georgia this year. You didn't really see the big
I think
push.
it just happened too fast.
Yeah.
I think they went from spring to summer in a hot minute.
And hey, guys, some years Georgia rocks it for a month before they'll be rocking it from around my birthday, late February, all the way through the second week of April.
Yeah,
that's a good season down there. But
what you really want is, we as soon as it gets warm out, we get so excited. Oh, please warm up, please warm up, please warm up. I want to plant my garden. I want to go on a hike or whatever. But that's not what we want.
No, you want a nice slow burn.
Very slow progression of cool nights, warm days, but not too hot. You need that, the moisture. You need the rain, not too much rain. So, I mean, we've all seen the years where mushroom season will last a good 2 months. And then, unfortunately, it seems like more often nowadays, some seasons only last a couple weeks or something.
11 to 13 days, man. I mean, that's the reality of it in some of these years. Now, and we can get into this next week as well when we talk about the discussion, but it's been trending early. This year it's trending early. Now, every year we could say that, but we'll get a little bit deeper next week. I mean, shoot, yeah, we're about there, man. I think we're about out of time.
Are we?
I think so.
Well, until next
week. Next week, guys, remember, we're the now.
This is the now.
We are the now. Come see us next week. Deuces.
See you guys.